Hey guys, welcome back to Single Chef. I'm Matt Scholar. I'm your classic single guy with the classic single guy fridge and ingredients. The difference is I know how to use these items simply and quickly to create a tasty meal you can't mess up. So good that even a beautiful woman will be impressed. But if you can't take my word for it, you cannot take our lovely Lily's word for it. Right, Lily?
That's right, Matt. I'm going to try that food and tell it like it is.
Excellent.
So what are you making tonight?
Well, tonight, I'm really jazzed for tonight's meal. I'm going to pay homage to my New York Jewish roots, if you will. I grew up in New York City or around New York City, but lived in the city for a long time. And there are so many great New York-style delicatessens, and I've hit a lot of them in New York City, and there's so many great different sandwiches that I'm kind of taking a combination of my 3 favorite sandwiches in the world and sort of combining them into one Matt Scholar Single Chef sandwich tonight. And I'll show you what that is in a second. So that's kind of what we're doing tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a Big Mac Daddy sandwich.
That sounds really gnarly, but great.
Gnarly in a good way?
In a great way, the best way.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you're a Southern California girl, as we know.
Yeah.
Here, growing up in here in LA, what are some of your, like, are there some great places that you go to get like a good New York style or deli sandwich?
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess New York delis, and I guess New York has a leg up on the deli situation, but LA, we've got Cantor's and Junior's and Factor's. Those are the ones I grew up with.
Right
so,
on.
Yeah.
Which out of those 3 is like, if you had one to pick, that you would go to?
Well, Cantor's is a great late night deli.
Right.
But I've had my fair share of dinner from Junior's because it was around the corner from my house. So.
Okay. So it would be toss up maybe?
Toss up, yeah.
Right on.
Depending on what side of town you're on, et cetera, et cetera.
Gotcha. Well, guys, I'm basically going to make 3 sandwiches in one, like I said. But before we get into it, let me just go into, we're going to be choosing from our 10 single chef ingredients, and every single guy or gal out there has these in their, has these in their fridge or pantry. Let's go over that list again. And we have soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce. I've got canola oil. We've got ketchup, mustard. We got salt and pepper. Everybody out there has salt and pepper. We've got some garlic powder hiding back here, and we've got Thousand Island dressing. So we're going to be choosing from those single chef ingredients plus what I shop for today. And guys, this cost me about, per person, probably like less than $10. Just went to my deli counter. I picked up half a pound of pastrami. I picked up some Munster cheese, and I picked up some oven roasted turkey. Now, normally, the bread you would use for like a good hot pastrami sandwich in New York would be rye bread, but I found this bread. It's sort of like a challah bread, and it's called egg square bread. Let me just show you. It looks a lot like a loaf of challah bread. And guys, I've been using this bread for a while now, and I tell you, just the texture and the flavor, it just makes a great sandwich. Plus, I enjoy cutting my own slices. So we're going to be using this bread today, and again, this is what I would use. And we're going to single chef style out 3 different sandwiches in one: a turkey sandwich, a hot pastrami sandwich, and a basic grilled cheese. So, with no further ado, let's get the show on the road. As always, Lily's going to be in the chat room, so if you have any questions for us here in theroomlive.com, shoot them over to Lily. Lily will send them over to me, and we'll answer your questions.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm having some technical difficulties logging in, but I'm in the chat room, and so if you have questions, I can see your questions and still ask them, but I'm not quite typing there yet. So
okay.
Hopefully that'll fix it in a moment.
Well, we're just good. This is how we rock out live here, guys. Sometimes we have technical problems, but shoot your questions over to her. She'll be able to see them and ask me the questions. All right. So first of all, I have a pan over there that I have on medium heat, actually low to medium heat, and I'll show you why that is. I have my loaf of bread here, and I'm going to just start cutting some hearty pieces of bread for our sandwiches. So I like to cut. Actually, the ends, I'm not going to use the ends. I don't know about you guys, but I just have something against the ends of the bread. We'll save this for some homeless people on the street. All right, so I'm going to cut about almost an inch thick piece, and we'll be making, I think we're going to make at least 2 sandwiches. We might rock out 3, but I want them to be like New York style deli sandwiches. I don't know if you guys have ever seen them before, if you're not familiar with them, but they are like some thick sandwiches. I mean, these sandwiches are like 6-7 inches with just stuffed with meat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're kind of gluttonous, but you could share them with like one sandwich will feed 2 people easily. So we'll make 2 sandwiches today, And that'll be enough for everybody here in theroomlive.com. So do we have any questions, Lily?
Hold on. Oh, wait. I just was able to log in.
Oh,
so
great.
I'm here now.
Okay.
Everybody.
Lily's in the chat room, everybody, so shoot your questions her way if we have any.
And we do have one
Okay,
question.
great.
This is from NY Woman 16.
NY Woman 16,
Yes.
right, fellow New Yorker.
She wants to know, do you have to use egg bread?
Well, no, you can use whatever bread you want, but I prefer to use this bread because, like I said, we're going to first start with our first part of the sandwich is going to be a grilled cheese. This grills up really, really nicely. It's got a little bit of sweetness to it, and it toasts up really nicely. It's got a nice crunch to it as well, so you can use whatever bread you'd like, but this is the bread we're using today. But thank you for the question. I do appreciate it. So I'm going to take some Pam, and I'm just going to spray our pan to get it coated, and then we'll start making our grilled cheese portion first. So you can see that on camera there. I'm just really coating that nicely. I want a lot of that on there. It's going to substitute for butter, but you can use butter if you don't have any Pam. So first things first, what we want to do is we want to get out our cheese. I'm using Munster cheese. I'm sure I'm going to get a question, do you have to use Munster cheese? You don't have to use Munster cheese, but I really love Munster cheese on this sandwich. And we're going to use, let's see, let's put 2 slices here and 2 slices here. So we'll do that. So this is going to be a very cheesy sandwich. So I'm just putting the cheese on each piece of the bread. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to stack that bread together, and I'm going to start our first sandwich. And we're just going to put it on the oven, on the hot pan, and that's going to act as our sort of grill there. So I brought another pan here, and I'm just going to put that on top. And sort of like when we did our Cuban sandwiches, this will kind of French press, act as our French press, and it'll help, melt the cheese. And once the cheese is melted, like you could just stop there with a great grilled cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
But that's just the beginning of our sandwich here tonight, guys. And you might be asking yourself, well, why is he doing a sandwich? It's pretty easy. Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of people out there like to, have a very simple sandwich from time to time that, fills certain cravings. I know I do, especially on a weekend. If I'm hanging out watching some sports, I like a good sandwich. Well, this is going to be a packed sandwich. And my experience in New York, I lived in New York City for many years. I grew up outside of New York City. There are some great delis. Lily mentioned some here in LA. Well, some of the ones in New York, we have Carnegie Deli, which is in the theater district on 55th Street, I believe, in 7th Avenue. And my first apartment was only a few blocks away from there. And my brother used to live with me in the same building. So on Sundays, we'd watch our New York Giants play football. And we'd order Carnegie's Deli, sandwiches, hot dogs, matzo ball soup. It was fantastic. I mean, we went to town on that stuff. But it was the first time I realized, oh my God, these sandwiches are just so humongous. And one of them, like I said, could feed 2 people. However, we tended to eat the whole thing ourselves. So that was like my first experience. There's another great New York deli called 2nd Avenue Deli, and that's in the East Village around 10th Street. And that deli is another one that sticks out in my mind because, living in New York City, you roam all around town. So that's downtown, and they have, funny story about that place is that they have these plaques in the front of this deli, and they're famous Yiddish actors. And one day I was, looking at these old plaques, and I saw that one of the names was this guy named Zvi Schuyler. And Zvi Schuyler happens to be a relative of mine. Wow. He was a famous Yiddish actor in the Yiddish theater, and actually he was in an early Woody Allen movie. He was in the original Fiddler on the Roof. So I remember, this is years ago, walking by, and I saw his name, and I kind of just freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, that's one of my relatives. Not sure exactly how we're related. My last name is Scholar, but I think we had the same great-grandparents. So that was always cool, and I like going to 2nd Avenue Deli, absolutely. And then if you're downtown on Lower East Side, there on East Houston Street, there's a deli called Katz's Deli. This deli is famous for not only its sandwiches, matzo ball soup, and all that stuff, but if you ever saw the movie When Harry Met Sally, it's where they did that famous scene where Sally was convulsing in pleasure, and then Rob Reiner's mother actually said, "I'll have what she's having." So if you've ever seen that movie, that's where that took place, in Katz's Deli. All right, so I hear a little something going on back here, which is good. I'm going to just take a look and see where we are with our grilled cheese thus far. Okay, we got a little bit of a crust on there. I'm going to flip it. This one has a little bit more, but as you can see, I don't want to burn my bread. I just want to make a little golden brown. I want to make sure it's a little golden brown on both sides and that our cheese is melting, which it's starting to do. So let's just press that. I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit, and in like a minute, I'm going to take those off, and then I'm going to start building our sandwiches. Do we have any other questions out there?
As a matter of fact, Frank wants to know if you'll be using your Thousand Island dressing tonight.
Actually, yes, Frank, I am going to be using my Thousand Island dressing. What's going to make this a special sandwich that's going to, set apart from other just wimpy sandwiches is we're going to layer this thing, like stack it up really nicely. So I will be using my Thousand Island dressing. I'm also going to be using some mustard, and I also have some coleslaw here. So generally, like I say, there are three of my favorite sandwiches. One of my favorite sandwiches, and probably every little kid growing up, was like a grilled cheese sandwich. Everybody, their first experience of a sandwich was probably a grilled cheese sandwich and a side of, chicken noodle soup. So I love just a straight up grilled cheese sandwich. I don't know who doesn't. But then also my second favorite sandwich, or the sandwich that I probably ate the most in my whole life, was just a really good turkey sandwich. Turkey with just some mustard, or if you like mayo, some mayo, but I was a mustard kid growing up. And then as I got older and started going to these delis and, getting more exposure to the variety of sandwiches out there, hot pastrami sandwich was just by far my favorite sandwich. I mean, a stacked hot pastrami sandwich with some coleslaw, a little Thousand Island dressing, some mustard. Forget about it. That's all you needed to be a happy camper. So as I got older and started cooking and experimenting in my kitchen, I started putting these ingredients together and realizing, why have just one sandwich when you can have 3 in 1? So that's where I came up with my New York style pastrami turkey grilled cheese sandwich, which we'll be macking out today. Now I can hear it grilling over there, so I'm going to check on those in a minute. And what better to go with a sandwich than just good old-fashioned Doritos? I didn't make these Doritos. I don't make Doritos, but they really go good with a sandwich. And they cost 99 cents. So I've got 2 varieties today. I've got Nacho and Cool Ranch. And we've also got some really good dill pickles to go along with that I got at Rockin' Ralph's, which is a big-time supermarket out here in LA. So let's check on our grilled cheese portion of the meal, and then we'll start building these suckers up. But by the way, thank you so much for the questions. If you have anything else, shoot them Lily's way. We'll do our best to answer them.
We have some now, actually.
Okay, great. Let me just interrupt for 1 second.
Sure.
And oh yeah, there we go. Okay, so I want to show folks on camera here what we got going on. Okay, so that's nice and brown on both sides. That one not as brown, but you get the idea. I'm going to take that off the heat right now. What's our question?
All right. Well, M. Neves01, who's watching from Rio de Janeiro.
Wow.
And taking notes.
Rio de Janeiro, all the way over in Europe. No, I'm just kidding. I know where Rio is.
Wants to know what kind of mustard is best to use.
That's a great question. I prefer, Gulden's spicy brown mustard for a sandwich like this. To me, there's no other, mustard. Just forget about any other mustard. Don't Dijon, Grey Poupon, nah. Gulden's spicy brown mustard is the deli mustard of choice for single chef. Thank you, though, for watching and for asking from Rio de Janeiro. Let me show you guys. Okay. All right. Well, our cheese is not 100% melted. Actually, it's funny. This one is melted exactly right. Take a look, Lil.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. The other one isn't, so I'm going to put the other one back on so it gets like this, and I'm going to open it up just like that. Okay, so this one's going back on. Wow, Rio de Janeiro. Who knew they watched The Single Chef down there? That's pretty cool. That's a place I haven't been to, but I would love to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building this sandwich first, and I'm going to get another plate out here. And if we have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer them whilst I'm building a sandwich.
And we do. So.
Awesome. A lot of questions today. I like it.
Yeah, it's blowing up.
Okay, what do we got?
All right. Well, Sarah Tuck3 wants to know if you've ever eaten at Edelman's in Brooklyn.
Huh. You know what, Sarah? I actually lived in Brooklyn for a while. I lived in the Fort Greene area, and I've heard of Edelman's, but unfortunately I've never eaten there. Would she recommend, what would she recommend from Edelman's?
We'll ask.
And where in Brooklyn, if you know, where in Brooklyn? While we're getting that answer, so you can see we got creamy, chewy, yummy deliciousness in there. I'm going to put some of our mustard here on both sides. And then I'm going to take some of our coleslaw, and we're going to start building this bad boy up. This is going to be like a skyscraper of sandwich. That's why I'm only making 2, because I want these to have some girth to them, you know what I mean? I want them to be nice and fat and juicy. I don't know if girth was the best word I meant to use for that, but anyway, you get the idea. All right, so here we go. There's our coleslaw. Oh, what am I doing? I gotta heat up our pastrami to make it a hot pastrami, right? So, I think our cheese, this one's gonna be done. I'm gonna take this off the heat, and then I'm gonna lay my pastrami right down on here, and I'm gonna let that cook for just about a minute, minute and a half to get nice and brown, and that's gonna go on our sandwiches. You can do this in the microwave too, guys, but to me, this brings out the best flavor, so I'd recommend doing it right on the heat. And I'm just going to spray a little bit of Pam on there, just to give it, and then I'm just going to mix it up so it all gets hot. So while that's cooking, I have my other sandwich here I'm going to start to build up too, and this is definitely melted by now, or mostly melted. Hey, it's a live show, everything doesn't come out perfectly, but you get the idea. It's kind of melted. So, let me put our mustard, and guys, trust me, go out to your store on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, go get yourself some pastrami, some turkey, some cheese. You can get yourself rye bread, whatever bread you want, but this bread will hold a sandwich a lot better than rye bread will. And try this sandwich, guys. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. And no, I've not forgotten about our Thousand Island dressing. You'll see where that's going to go in a minute. So, I'm going to lay our coleslaw in here. And as you can hear, our pastrami is cooking up nicely. And I'm going to flip that real quick, so all of it gets nice and hot. You don't have to cook it down too much. The idea is just to get it hot. Because hot pastrami tastes a lot better than cold pastrami. I mean, cold pastrami is great too, but hot pastrami is where it's at. You know what I mean? It's the bomb diggity ding dong. So, we're going to take our turkey and start folding that in there. Ooh, yeah. I'm excited for this. All I need now is like a good, football game, which football season will be starting soon. Sit down in front of that. Nice cold drink, and I'm all set to go. Actually, I'm going to steal a piece of turkey from here, and we're going to put it on here. Okay, so I'm going to take our Thousand Island dressing, shake that up a little bit, and just going to put a little bit on the turkey. Just a little circle like that. Great. And now I'm going to take my pastrami off the heat, because now it's nice and hot. And I'm just going to take it with my spatula and lay it on there. Ooh, that's hot. Oh, yeah. We're going to build that thing up. As you can see, it's already starting to get we're going to have to take big bites on this thing. Do we have any other questions while I'm building this sandwich?
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
Boston Tracy wants to know if you don't like chips, any other options for sides to go with the sandwich?
Ooh, French fries maybe? I would go French fries.
How about healthy?
Healthy?
Ideas?
No. This is not a healthy meal. This is a healthy for the soul meal. You could have some broccoli if you want, but it's not going to have the same effect, Boston Tracy. You know what I mean? I like a good crunchy chip to go with my big sandwich. But you know what I mean? Like, I'm not the rule setter. I'm just showing you what I like. But you guys can substitute here and there to make it a little healthier. I like to eat like this because it comforts my soul, but I don't eat like this every day. But I like showing you some of the gluttonous stuff that I like to cook every now and then. This is, a little bit on the gluttonous side. But man, does it pay off when you eat it. All right, so I think we're just about there. So I'm just going to pile this up, and then we're going to cut these. And then
Awesome.
I'm going to garnish our plate with our lovely chips and pickles. And we will have ourselves an awesome New York style deli sandwich.
And we have one more question that's
Awesome.
just for you.
Let me just show what we're working with here, guys, on camera. That was Matt, our director upstairs, who just went, oh. I mean, how can you not? That is going to pay off. What we got going on here, I'm just going to go through it, how this works for me. We've got the creamy gooey with the cheese. We've got the texture of the bread, which you'll see. It's just right. It's just right. It's not too crunchy, it's not too soft, and it's got a little sweetness. We've got the salt of the pastrami and the turkey We got the, you know, the kick with the mustard, and we've got the sweetness of the coleslaw. This is just going to combine to be something really awesome.
So excited.
What's our last question?
Humble Carpenter wants to know how you fit all of that in your mouth.
You just kind of close your eyes, shut out everything around you, and take a big-ass bite. That's what I do.
All right.
It's kind of like Zen-like, you know what I mean? So, we're going to put a little bit of each Dorito style on our plate. Let's mix it up a little bit. My hands are so greasy I can't even... There we go. Got that. I want a little bit of our original and a little bit of Cool Ranch. You can see the difference in color there. There's the Cool Ranch and there's the, yeah. Anywho. So, and then we're just about ready to eat. Lil, why don't you come up here?
Great.
And for the first time on Single Chef,
yes.
I'm so excited because normally with our time constraints, you know, it's a short show. We have a piping hot plate of food that we have to basically eat on camera. Mm-hmm. And this might be the first time that we actually can eat something that's not going to burn our mouths.
Can I make a confession before we take a bite?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Being the good Jewish girl that I am, I've never had pastrami.
Really?
Ever. Hot
Okay.
or cold, never had a pastrami.
This is your first
sandwich.
time?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I forgot. We got to garnish with a pickle there. Now that's a lovely plate. All right. Wow, I can't believe this is your first time eating. All right, well, are you cool with eating pastrami sandwich?
Absolutely, I'm excited.
All right, I'm excited for you then. Let's get to it, shall we?
Yes.
Here's the thing. Here's how you have to do it. Take a bite.
Yeah.
Take a Dorito and then a bite of the pickle. That's the way to do this.
We're gonna try it.
Bon appetit.
Cheers.
Let all the flavors settle in. Feel it.
No, Dorito.
All right. Dorito. Now a little
Now
dill
pickle.
pickle.
Wow. Oh my god. That is just shit. Good.
Oh! We got the S-bomb out of Lily.
Awesome.
First time on Single Chef.
But like that's the way to go. Boom, boom, boom.
That's what I'm talking. I know what I'm doing with this.
Wow.
I have some experience in this department.
I am impressed.
You like that?
Yeah.
I like that was like the best reaction I think I've ever seen on the show. We've had some good ones. Well, guys, first of all, let me thank Robin Roseanne and Michael Davis, our executive producers, for allowing us to do the show. We have such a great time doing Single Chef. Let's thank our director upstairs, Matt Edwards, who's just an awesome guy, and he does a great job as well. You can follow us on Twitter @TheSingleChef. You can find us on Facebook and be a fan of our show if you'd like. That's The Single Chef. And we're also on iTunes. Watch us for free. Tell your friends. We're The Single Chef on podcast. We'll see you next week. I don't know what we're cooking yet, but I'll figure it out. Have a great week. Oh, and also learn how to cook, guys. You want to be single forever, right? See you next week.